Hello everyone. Welcome to today's live. Another pop-up. I never schedule anything. I gotta make sure I'm muted on YouTube. 1 second. Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome. So today is a little bit of something different. I actually woke up yesterday morning with an order on my website for an Easter basket tag. I have not made an Easter basket tag probably in 2 years. So I was like, what? They used to be a fairly big seller on my Etsy, and I think since I left Etsy, um, they're just not as um they're not found as easily. But so I'm excited that I get to do something that I don't do very often anymore. It used to be something I did more often. So I'm excited to do that, and hopefully I remember how to do it. Because the problem is that um I'll go so much time without doing something, and then I don't remember how to make it anymore. So we'll see if I can remember how to make it. Let me first make sure, can you hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Or do I need to try to make adjustments even though I have no idea what I'm doing? So that's why it took me a while to get onto the live, because I'm trying to prep everything and trying to remember what I'm supposed to be doing. So I have my fabric. I usually keep that pre-cut. I had it pre-cut because like I said, I used to make a lot of these. I had it pre-cut, ready to go. So the fabric's ready to go. Now I just need to put it into the machine. So you guys get to see something other than me making bags. Which bags are great, but I think you, as a creative person, I think you do get sick of things. If you make it so often, you just get you get bored of it. So, this will be something fun and different. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it started on the machine, and you guys can watch it. So, first off, I have my stabilizer in here, and for this I need a tearaway stabilizer. So this is tearaway, and I'm gonna pop that in. I'm just gonna make sure my stuff stays nice and tight. Okay. Now, the steps that my embroidery will take. First, it will give me a placement stitch. That'll let me know where I need to put my fabric. Then after that, it will tack down my fabric. That's a tack down stitch. Then after that, it's going to start working on the design on the item itself. And this is for a little boy named, I'm guessing it's a little boy named Tommy. And so it'll go ahead and stitch all of the design on top of it. And then I'll add my backing so that everything's nice and neat. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this started and cross my fingers that I remember how to do this correctly. If you have any questions while you're watching or whatever, let me know. Nope, it broke. Hold on. Sometimes this happens. I feel like my thread tends to break a lot when I first start my machine up. Like, it's cold, it hasn't been worked in a little bit, so I haven't been doing embroidery very much lately. I haven't been doing any crafting lately, to be honest. So now since that's done, I can see the tack down pretty well. Let me get back to the webcam. So you can see that faint round line, and it's not perfect because my thread broke, but that's okay because it's not a necessary thing that I need. It's more of a useful thing. It just helps me to see what I'm doing or where I'm placing the fabric. So I'll just clean that up a little. And then I will take this. And what I do with this is I actually spray it with a adhesive. So I use this temporary adhesive. It's 505 spray. So I just put it, I pretty much just put it in my trash can over here, like over my trash. And then I spritz it. And then it's got a nice little tacky adhesive on the back of it. And then I like to line this up. Oops, wrong side. I like to line this up so that it's fairly straight. And then I'll just double check it on the back. Yep. It goes over all the lines. And then I will put it back into the machine and it will tack down the stitch. This is it not being hooked in. Okay. Why it did that, I don't know. Okay. Let's restart it. A lot of things have been going wrong this morning, so this goes wrong. I get it wrong. Alright, so that's the tack down, and now it's gonna do the design on. Oh, well, okay, I will go ahead and trim off. I think I put a pause in there so that I could make sure to trim the fabric around. Yeah. So I'm just using these curved scissors. So it's a double curve. So here's a curve, curve, and curve. And that's just how I come around and I snip as close to the stitching as possible. You're probably just looking at my head. And you probably can't see very much anyway because the lighting's really bad over here. So I just kind of collect the fabric as I go along, trying not to cut my stitches. And since this is a magnetic hoop, it keeps magnetizing to the hoop, so I have to. Now I also have another one. I also have my purple scissors. Maybe those will work better. Well, maybe they don't work better. Oh wait, there we go. Other ones work fine. These ones are actually a little temperamental right now. snip some things that I see that I don't like. Okay. Now I've got it as close to the edge as I can. Then I'm going to put it back in and it's going to start stitching the design. I don't want to get my phone too close to the machine. It's a magnet in my phone. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. That little loop that just formed, I can just trim that away later because it's been tacked down underneath. So, who is joining me today? They're workers and lurkers. Before the carrot part comes to that one with the loop, I might cut it. Hi, honey. At least you're always there to support me. So I have two different versions of this tag on my website. So I have the girl version and the boy version, right? So girl version is more feminine, and the boy version is more gender neutral, kind of. I mean, it's got blue in it, but it's more gender neutral. And I also have a carrot on my website as well, so that's even more gender neutral. But so right now I'm gonna pause it before it goes to the next one, so I can trim that little thread because I don't want that getting um or sewn over some more. I'm just moving you guys out of the way for a second. And I'm gonna pull this out so I don't accidentally chop something off that shouldn't be chopped off. Oh no. I just chopped something off that shouldn't be chopped off. Okay, hold on. I can redo it. Yeah, I just cut something. I think I just cut something that shouldn't have been cut. Hold on. Intermission for fixing something that I messed up on. It's all about fixing your mistakes sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta do that. Just over to the side, trying to trim something, and then I will restitch the green topper for this one. Just to make sure that it looks good. And it doesn't look wrong. Alright guys, I'm just over here trying to fix it. So I'm actually gonna go back a step and restitch the green that I just had to take out because I got a little overzealous when I was trimming it. And I cut into the stitches themselves. So that's not good. So let's go back. Okay. So what we're actually gonna do is I can go a certain number of stitches. I don't know how many stitches I have to go, but I can tell on my machine. Okay. So now I'm going to re-stitch it. And you'll never know it was there. See, it's perfect again. Okay. Now I can go back to my carrot. Well, now I just have to find the right number of stitches away from the carrot. All right, now we're back to business. Now we're back doing the carrot. Not a big deal. And the font that I use for this embroidery, for the tags, for the boy tags, is a font that I purchased years ago, and I love the look of it, but I don't always love it because some of the letters, they don't have capitals for them. They are all lowercase. So when you're trying to use it for a name, it's all lowercase or slightly different. None of them look like they're uppercase and should go at the beginning of a name. So for some of the letters, I have had to take it into my own digitizing software and recreate a capital letter for it. So it looks looks almost identical. So for this one, I had to make the capital T because the T was lowercase. So it was the line and then the cross. That's it. So I needed to make one that looked like an uppercase. I just don't like the look of it looking lower. So the T was redigitized by me. So I redigitized it. And all the other letters are the same. I just redigitized the parts that I don't love. A little bit because I don't want the magnet hitting my phone. So if you were here with my last live, I worked on my laser cutter. I still haven't figured it out. I don't know if I will take the time to figure it out or not. It frustrates me more than anything. So I may not be working on that anymore. Okay, now that this part's done, I will remove it from the machine. And this is when the back gets added. So, let me return you. Let me push this. I need to raise my table. It's a little low. I have a cranking table, so I can crank the little handle and it'll rise for me. It's just so I don't have to bend over so much. Okay. So right now, you can see, here's the back, here's the front of it. Super cute. And what I usually do is I just look and make sure all the stitches look clean and there's no loops or anything like that. And it looks pretty darn good to me. So what I'm going to do is then I'm going to flip it over. And there's always these extra little, you know, the where it cuts them off. And I just like to trim them. Not because not that you have to, because it's going to be hidden when you go and put the back on. Most of it's going to be hidden, but I like to just trim it up so it's a little neater. They don't have to be super close. You don't want them super close or they will pull out. The knot on them will get pulled out. So, and I like to clean up where it joins here just so that it's nice and neat. Okay. I even do the letters, make sure they're a little neatened up. Okay, now I usually take lint rollers. Okay, so years ago, I'll show you the lint rollers I bought from Sam's Club years ago. These are the ones I bought from Sam's Club years ago. They're almost all gone, right? These things are amazing. The stick on them is amazing. Now, Sam's Club has these ones, and they're awful. They're like see-through, and the stick lasts for about 3 seconds, and half the time it doesn't even pick up what I need it to pick up. So it gets a little frustrating because I know the product could be better, and they're just not. So now this is done. And I have already sprayed this, but I might spray it again. It feels like it's not as sticky. Okay. So I already sprayed the backing. So here's the backing, okay? And I'm going to stick that to the back like this. Make sure it covers everything it should cover. And just smooth it down. Now when I put it back on my machine, it's going to do a tack down stitch for this, and then I need to trim everything away. It's also going to do a stitch around here where the hole should go, and then I'll trim that out as well. So I'll go ahead and put you back. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Put you back to the machine, and we will just go ahead and tack it down. This on the opposite. Okay. Now, oh wait, gotta do that little circle. I'm watching this like a hawk so I don't screw it up and have to redo it. So that's mostly what I'm doing. Okay, so now I need to trim the back and I need to trim this little hole here. So I'm going to actually do that sitting down so that my face can be closer to it than super far away. And hopefully you guys don't mind just sitting there hanging out while I do that. Okay. I don't think I used to do it how long. It's been a while since I've done this, so I'm trying to remember all my steps. Do have a smaller scissor I can use. Okay. That's a lot. Pause in here. Okay, now the back. Now the other thing I have to do, now that I have finished this part, is I will also have to change the color in my bobbin case because I like to, since these are dual-sided, so you can see both sides, I like to make sure that I match the finishing satin color on the front to the finished satin color on the back. So that means I go ahead and sorry, I'm focusing on cutting. I go ahead and switch out my bobbin thread. So I actually wind my own personal bobbins that are colors so that it can match perfectly to the thread that I'm using on the top. Sorry if you can hear my kids, they're being kind of loud. Once again, I'm just trimming as close as I can to the edge. And then I have to do that little center one. And I use a teeny tap scissor. It's actually like a cuticle scissor that I use. That helps me to get into this little spot. The reason why I cut it out is because I like it to have a nice finished look. If I leave the fabric in there, there will be fabric remnants that stick through the stitching, and I don't like the look of that at all, so. I try to make it as neat and tidy as I can. Just gonna look it over, make sure it looks good. looks good. Now you can see what I did. Let me switch you back over to the whip. Okay, so if you can see, what I did is I trimmed out the back, and then I trimmed out the little hole, and then I trimmed out the little hole in the front. Now there is still some fuzz in here, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get all that, so it's just going to have to stay. Then I can put this back in, and then do my satin stitching. Now, I need to make sure that I change out my bobbin. So, if you've ever wondered what a bobbin looks like, if you're not a sewer or embroiderer, so here's the bobbin case. And there's the bobbin thread itself. So I have white. I usually only use white. I've never used, yeah, I usually only use white. Okay, so I put that to the side. And then I bought these ones, these metal bobbins. And that allows me to wind my own thread. So I place that in, and it should make a, it's got to turn this way. I'm trying to remember how it turns. Okay, so it needs to turn clockwise. So it goes down into this hook, and then it comes up and hooks in there, into that little section. Then I can turn it and flick it back in. So now my top thread will be the pretty blue, and my bottom thread will be the pretty blue. So it all looks cohesive. All right, now we'll go ahead and start it. so it finished that part. Now, the finishing touch to this is a like an accent stitch that goes inside of the satin stitch. It's a white accent stitch. So I even do that as well. So I'll change my bobbin thread to white. So I'll take this out and I remove that. And I'll put my original white one in and put it in there. Okay, I'm going to trim it down a little because it doesn't need to be that long. Okay, and I will tuck this back into my machine underneath. There we go. Like, why is it not standing? Okay, and then I will start that. And it'll do its little accent stitch on the inside. Oh, I miss making these. These were so fun. Okay, now it's all done. And we can get it ready for shipping. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you back to my webcam, but I'm going to turn it off for a second so I can move everything without people getting a little sick. So I'm going to just turn off the camera for a second so I can move my whole setup and nobody gets ill. Oops. Okay. Make room on my table. You guys don't need to see all my mess. And I'm going to put the person's stuff to the side so I don't show anyone's address. Okay. So turn that back on and I will grab that real fast. All right. So here is the finished. It's not 100% finished. I still have to finish it. So go ahead and take that off. I can put it far away from my phone and my computer. Okay. So it's finished, and that's why you use tearaway for this. I always feel like you got. Wish I knew how to zoom this in. Maybe I can zoom it in. Nope. Trying to see. Scale to window. Ooh. There we go. Now you guys can be a little more zoomed in. And you're not like, what is she doing? Let's do 50%. Oh, let's make it a little bigger. Okay, so here's the finished. Now, on the back, it needs some touch-ups because it's messy with all the trimmings. I try to be careful because you can't go and fix it now if something goes wrong, so you're probably looking at the top of my head. I'm sorry. Okay. Just trimming up some of these threads. This one liked to curl up on itself. I try to trim it up as best I can, but also at the same time, I can't make it perfect. Hold on, I'm just looking at it. There we go. So that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so now I just look at the front, make sure everything looks good. There's just a little fuzz. Okay, that looks good. Now it's got tearaway on it, which makes it really nice. You just tear it away from the design. And since it's been perforated so many times, it tends to come away pretty nicely. Now, there will be fuzzes. I even say it on my... Now, I can take a lighter. That makes me a little nervous. You can take a lighter and you can, like, lightly go near the edge and it kind of melts it. So I don't go close because I don't want to melt my stitches. But it can help melt the fuzz. Okay. And but I do mention it on my website. I say fuzz around the outside is going to be normal because of the tearaway that I use. It doesn't make everything disappear. It tears away, but not perfectly, right? So there's some more fuzz. Okay, now that's all done. Now I usually like to press them, and I don't have my big heat press on, so I'll just press it with my little mini Cricut press. I'll just turn that on. But I do need a piece of ribbon. And I'm pretty sure I do it with satin ribbon. Like I said, I've forgotten because it's been years since I've done one. And sometimes I have to go on my own website and make sure that I'm doing it right because I want it to be as nice as people expect it to be. So I'm gonna go in here and go to my website, and it should say with satin ribbon if I'm correct. Finished off with a satin ribbon. Let's see. It looks like a satin ribbon. And white satin ribbon for attaching to the basket. Okay. Now, I usually use this ribbon. I might in the future go smaller, but this is probably a one-off purchase from someone. And once again, I don't remember how long I used to make the ribbon. So I think it was 15. So that's 12. And I'll do 3 more inches. Yeah, I think that's good. Just snip it off. And then I heat seal it. But I will trim these edges in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and press this so it's nice and smooth and no wrinkles. It just makes it look nice and pretty. There we go. Nice and pretty. And then I take it. Let me go ahead and press this. And I might put some parchment paper over it just so that I don't burn anything. Flip it over. And I will press the front of it. It helps get all those like little teeny tiny puckers that aren't like puckers. They're just, you know. So it helps make it nice and smooth. And let me use my lint roller to clean it off. There we go. then I will take and I think I'm gonna put it, trying to remember. Oh, I think I want it like this. Pull that through. I just rearrange it. And I take this side and pull it over. And there we go. There's the finished tag. And let me go ahead and trim the ends. One of these is longer than the other, and I want them similar. There we go. Okay. Then I'm going to just trim them at an angle so that it looks nice. And I will separate them and heat seal them. I heat seal them with a lighter so that they don't unravel. Now, customers can replace this with anything if they want. If this isn't their look, then they can go ahead and replace it with something else. So that is the finished Easter basket tag. Then I'm going to heat seal this end before I put it away. And then I'm going to, I have ribbon just floating everywhere in here. Okay, okay, I'm so lost. Why is this? Hold on. There's ribbon falling out of things. Okay, now that's done. Put this one away. Another ribbon. I have ribbons everywhere. Okay. So that's done, and I pull out what I package with and what I will send it in. Okay. So I will then on here. Now I need to look at my computer. So I need to go on my website and find the order. Okay. Now, what I do for these, I take their packing slip. So I have their packing slip here. I'm not going to show you the other side. It's got their personal information. So I have their packing slip. And then I include a thank you card and my business card. And these have stickers on them because I was using Etsy. I'm not using Etsy, but maybe I'll go back to Etsy. I don't know. It depends. So then I will take their finished one, and I actually use these like little glassine bags. I've always used these glassine bags for my for these items, and I will tuck it in, and I try not to mess with the thing too much, but sometimes you don't really have a choice. So then I will close that up, and I actually like fold it extra so that it nice and snug around it. And I will take a sticker. I try to brand most of my stuff. So I take my sticker that I make at home and I stick it on there. And so it's nicely packaged. And I double check what they need. Okay. They have what they need. Then I put all that stuff on top. And then I put it inside here. I used to have smaller ones, but then I would start selling a little bit bigger items, and then I was like, oh man. So I can actually put it in the long way, and I can fold it over like this, so it'll be a smaller package. So what I do with that, so all that's included, I can close it up. Okay. And I like to take some extra tape. And I put it down the sides just as an extra security measure. So I just kind of tape up the sides. Tape it over. Okay. So now it's in here and it's safe, and I'll go ahead and weigh it just to make sure. Okay. And then I'll go here and I'll do create shipping label. Measure what this package will be. We'll do 8 by 6, 8 by 6. And we'll do that one. And then the total weight, I'll say, well, hold on. I want to try and make it 8 by 6. We'll do that. And then we'll do that. Really doesn't matter. Do 2.5. Just putting in the weight. All right. So then, okay. And I will ship that out probably tomorrow because mail doesn't go out today anyway, so that doesn't matter. Okay. So I have that. That's ready. That's ready. Now I'm going to buy my shipping label. And then I can attach it to my computer. Print one shipping label. Okay. And then I'll print it off. And you can't see this part either because it's got their information on it. So, and then I can move this to the side and I can attach it to here. And it fits perfectly. And then I like to tape over the tracking code, the barcode. And then I also like to add some of so I like to add a Happy Meal sticker to the front, just to the side, so people know, hey, it's not bills, it's Happy Meal. So I think that's fun. Because I know when I look into the thing, the first thing I see is bills. So I'm like, oh, maybe if I put something nice on the front. And then on the back, I like to put thank you for supporting my small business. These are all stickers I've made. And then it is all ready to go. And I can put that to the side. And that's the finished Easter basket tag. Does anyone have any questions? That's pretty much all I have for today. That was the only order I needed to do. I think I am gonna pack up one order for someone that I'm gonna send as a gift. But if there's no other questions, I'll wait a few minutes, see if anyone has a question, or if anyone wants to pop in and say hi. It's been very quiet today, so if you want to pop in, say hi, I'd appreciate it. And I'll just straighten up for a second. Okay, well, if that's it for today, thank you so much for joining me. And oh, hi Judith. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.